After much thought process and long debate, looking through all of the information that has been available online as well as through other gun tubers, looking up some independent research including the legal cases and some videos of some issues I've seen with my current Sig P320 Compact, I've decided that it is in my best interest to change yet again to a new EDC for 2021. I've always liked Walther, and I've used a Walther PPS Model 1 for years. You've seen videos about that. But I really wanted to be able to give you my thoughts and impressions about this particular pistol so far. I'm not going to go through all the techno-babble. You've seen all of the features that are available for this, how they mail in the plates, how to use optics, etc. But I wanted to be able to just show you guys and gals what it's like to really kind of own this for the first 250 rounds that I was able to have. I actually had ammo for this. I couldn't believe it. If that's all interesting to you, stick around for a minute. But quick thing, shouts out, of course, to MIE Productions for this fantastic holster. They're one of the few people that were able to have holsters for this, especially in an Olight combination. I really want to thank them for that kind of stuff. It's just awesome the way they've been treating me over the years. I really suggest you check them out. But we'll go into that right about now. The Walther PDP. So, I just got back from range day today, and I wanted to go through a comparison between the Walther PDP and what I compared it with was my original everyday carrier, was my mid-size compact Sig P320. Now, I go into specifically why I don't EDC this particular firearm any longer, especially with the recent lawsuits that are going through right now. It's not that I don't like Sig Sauer. I still love Sig Sauer as a great company, and I still want to give them a chance to be able to do the right thing. At the same time, I just have some concerns from my own particular research, talking with a couple of alphabet agencies, looking at the case files. I am a legal consultant in the first place, and I kind of drew my own conclusion that as of right now, having this as an everyday carrier is not exactly the best idea. I've invested highly in Sig Sauer products. I still do believe in them, but I think it was time to make a change. So I did that with the Walther PDP, and I'll be very honest with you, and I think it is a fantastic firearm to be able to use. There's a few things you want to be careful of that I'll go into in its similarities and differences, but I think a lot of them are like getting used to anything else, like any other firearm that you try. Full disclosure, both of these pistols are running Apex Tactical units. I am well aware that the Apex Tactical trigger is typically for the Walther PPQ, and the PDP specifically may not have been released yet, but I've owned a couple of PPQs. I've also kind of worked with a few of them, and from an engineering standpoint, it looks like everything's swapped right in, and my conclusions were correct. It actually just carried right in. The best part about that of this trigger is I like the way that it got rid of the initial take-up that the original trigger didn't have. So, because I'm quite sure quite a few people are like, why would you change from that PDT trigger? But the main thing about that is the fact that, again, lots of take-up. Now, I've already cleared these weapons. There's no ammunition on the table. Everything is clear for all you guys out there just trying to wondering if I'm going to shoot through the screen or hurt anybody else that's nearby. The answer is clearly a no. But what I found is, and I'll use my left hand as an example, was that, look at that. There's really no, I know the screen's a little fuzzy there. There's no take-up. None at all. That's the break right there. And I'll try the reset. That's it. Take. Reset. That's it. Okay. So it does work. I've fired about 200 rounds out of this so far. This one has already had a post 2017 Apex Tactical trigger as well. There's no take up here. I'm literally on the wall itself right now. Trigger done. Reset. That's it. And the weight is very similar, but I do have to admit that I like the third blade on the trigger shoe a lot better than I do with the standard on the Sig. Now, if you notice with this Sig, this actually runs the 17 round magazine with the X-Grip extension on it as opposed to the standard 15 round. Otherwise, they would actually be about the same length, but it's a little bit different. So what are the similarities? Both of them are very accurate. They use a wide trigger with both finger placement on the trigger and a firm grip is more sensitive to keep groups from going further to the left or the right on target, mainly to the left. Like a lot of the Glock shooters that sometimes kind of go to the left and low, this was strictly to the left. I will admit that I do have a gas pedal that's here that kind of fought that particular issue that I had before. So when I have my firm grip there, if you notice, I have my thumb here and it's pushing forward parallel to the actual slide, and so that really keeps me from going into that wrong direction. Whereas with the PDP, I actually added a little bit of skater's tape right here. It's not going to really work with my holster. I will probably have this stippled at another time, but it really did help with maintaining that proper grip going forward with that. But it is the grip specifically that makes anything, whether it's going to go left or right, or if you have too much finger on the trigger pad. So since these have a very similar grip size and frame, and which means that the grip style is going to be very similar, in both of them have a slightly higher bore axis than a CZ or a Glock, I found that these were very similar. Okay. When it comes to the differences, the P320 in its slide specifically is a lot heavier than it is for the PDP. Don't let the looks of the PDP fool you. The slide on the PDP, it may look bulky, it may be large, but it's actually rather light. And that's even with the optic on here. When I decided to do the comparison between the two, the optic was turned off and I just strictly went by the iron sights. And so I found that this was still lighter by just a tiny bit than this actual standard P320 Compact slide. So what did I learn from this entire experience? I found that this is a fantastic replacement right now for the P320. The only caveats that I kind of have are one of two things. One, I do wish that they had some better striations here or some better grip paneling, the same type of texture that they have here on the side panels. I really wish that they had it in the front. That I did find that when I did grip the weapon, I found my fingers slightly sliding after 50 rounds or so, even when it was sweaty or anything like that. So I may have this stippled. Really wish they had some stippling marks up here. Like I said, right now I'm just using a little bit of grip tape, some skater's tape right now, but I'll probably have that professionally stippled when I get this coated. But it is definitely a necessity to make sure that your finger is in the right placement when you're starting to be able to aim that particular sight. If you are a P320 user and you are considering changing something up, or you've already used the PPQ, then I truly recommend by going this particular route. That's it for right now. I'll keep going into some other stuff later. Questions, go ahead and comment below, or go ahead and give me an email at troytactildefense@gmail.com. Take care, man. Peace.